We're back with the fabulous Traci Murphy, Athletic Director, Vice President. Thank you for your president for that. You are on the cabinet at Daemen University. You're also the Division II ADA president of NACDA, the National Athletic Directors, Collegiate Athletic Directors. And we had a great conversation about your world in part one. I want to get into recruiting part two.
Okay.
I know you were an athletic trainer, and I know you've done you've done everything, including the kitchen sink in athletics, but you haven't had to necessarily recruit for your team. So I'm interested in how you evaluate your teams from that 30,000 foot mark and how a coach is recruiting, not just the talent, but the character they decide to bring in and how they create that melting pot in their program.
I think, truth be told, in today's age, we're recruiting every day, whether we realize it or not, because retention is so important, especially in higher ed because of the cliff. And then just because, of the dreaded transfer portal, right? But I will say from a recruiting standpoint, when I get together with our coaches and our staff, we talk about the expectations of our department. I have been blessed with the opportunity that within the year that I got here, it was due for another strategic plan. So collectively with the staff at the time, we developed a strategic plan and I included everybody. So in that we had to develop 6 pillars, and in that we outlined with coaches what are the details within those pillars. And one of them is creating a championship culture in terms of the people and your academic time, and just champions in everything in life, right? So because of the fact that I was able to do this strategic plan with everyone, it was very clear to everyone what the expectations were for our division. So it's more of everybody knows what we're looking for. We defined what a student athlete for Daemen looks like. Now each coach determines that per sport, but we know what that athlete is. It's good character. It is strong academic foundation. It is athletic ability. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that were the studs. My coaches don't just look for the best of the best. They also look for the diamonds in the rough, because as a former coach, that most of these kids that are coming into school haven't even matured all the way physically yet. Right? They're not even into their full bodies. They don't even have their muscle weight, especially at the guys. The muscle weight isn't even there yet. They know their strengths as coaches. They know if they're very good at developing whatever. And so I trust them to meet the expectations of what a student at Daemen is like and what the expectation is. With that comes, then they need to decide, they've already defined the culture of their program. So they need to make sure that they're doing their homework on the culture aspects, right? And then they need to make sure, of course, the first thing they'll always look at is the academic piece because of NCAA eligibility. Yeah. So those are kind of the things that I'm kind of expecting from them in terms of their recruitment, looking for those things. And they helped design it. So it's not like I'm asking for something like they all have to be left-handed or something like that. It's not like we designed something that's bizarre, right? Now, you asked about evaluating. Now, funny you say that, because I did something, in my opinion, kind of unique. I took our strategic plan and I turned it into a 6-tab spreadsheet.
Okay.
And every year it's broken down into the different action items within each pillar. So each tab is a pillar, and then there's action items. And in the action items, so it says, hey, how many freshmen did you say you were going to bring in? You said you brought in 7. How many did you actually bring in? You only brought in 6. Okay, but did you bring any transfers or grad students in? Okay, you did. All right, so you said 7, you brought in 7. You brought in 9. Hey, overachiever, love you. Okay, that type of stuff. And we do this at the end of every year. The sports supervisors sit down after they have completed the spreadsheet, and we look at retention rate, graduation rate, who they said they were recruiting, who they brought in here. Do we have any documentation from behavioral issues? Do we have anything that came from student affairs? Do we have any issues financially? Do we have any, did any of us witness anything, or did they get in lots of, would they always get, technicals during the games? I mean, how many red cards did they get? I mean, all these things are in front of us. And I did that because I wanted them to see it.
Yep.
And in there is a page where you put your wins and losses. You put non-conference, regular season. But that's not what I'm paying. I'm not staring at that. I'm looking at, you brought 7 kids in. The 7 kids were happy. Nobody went into the transfer portal.
Yep.
You had great season. You had less red cards. I mean, like, whatever. I look at it all. It's because that's what, when it's a holistic opportunity that we're providing here.
Right.
It's everything. It's not just black and white, X's and O's. It's all of it. It's, are they on time for their athletic training appointments? Did they go to the team doctor like they said they were going to? Are they showing up for physical therapy? All those things matter. And that's what we all said we were looking for. And that's what we all said that we wanted, because if we have a well-rounded student athlete, we can do a lot of things with them.
It must make your job searches, your vacancy openings so much easier when you have that, when you have a rubric like that, and you kind of, you're not always going to get that person that fits all those check marks, but you know, this is what we're looking for.
Yeah.
The character can be whatever it may be. We want to be surprised, but we want somebody that can talk about these things at a higher level, right?
Yes. Yes.
They've thought about it. They've put effort into it, right?
Yes. Yes. And the coaches are developing, because I have some that are newer than others, and they're developing habits and routines so that it's getting easier for them to spot the right kid at the right time.
And you don't learn that in the first 3-4 years.
No, gosh, no.
It takes time to understand that.
And you got to do your homework. And I mean, what I think one of the things that I should probably add down the line is I should ask everybody to tell me in June June 1, how many people are in their contacts, not who they are, but just how many people in their contacts. And then by May 31st, what's the number?
It's making me feel so good, because everything you're talking about, we're literally building it for the AD, because she's never been an AD before, and she's so lost and wants to work so hard and do things right. So I'm literally building her rubrics so she can go, oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah, I do need to be asking the coaches about that. I do need to understand their plan for this and what their executive function skill looks like.
Yes. And I do let them organize and administrate their programs. But when they hit a road bump, they have to share the road bump, okay? And they have to talk us through what they did and make sure that their plan is good. Like, I make them, in most cases, they can wait 24 hours. So especially the newer coaches, I say, listen, you know what? Hear it. Call your sports supervisor, go have a conversation, dwell or sleep on it, come in the morning. A lot of them can figure it out if they just sleep on it, right? Yeah. But my team, doesn't matter who, but my team, when they walk in any of our senior admin's offices, they don't come in just to dump the issue. They come in with, here's the problem. I have some suggestions. What do you think I should do? So they're coming in ready to problem solve with potential solutions. I love that. I mean, I think I'm able to do so many other things because I'm not necessarily putting out fires every day, because other people are thinking for themselves. I'm impressed. I love it.
Yeah.
I give them the autonomy to do so. Now, they have to talk to us to make sure that we're following university policies and division policies and stuff, but empower them. They're your coaches. They're running this organization of that team. Empower them.
I talked about this with another AD yesterday. If I have to be your boss and your mom, we've got a problem. Now that I am your boss, but if I have to act like it, that's where the problem comes.
Yeah.
Let's
and we talk about work, and we talk about work-life balance, right?
Right?
This is part of it. You know, you've got to be able to, somebody else has got to be able to problem solve. It can't just be all on you. Now, granted, the athletic director's responsibility is that oversight, you know, from the 30,000 feet up. And our net is it's cast very, very far. Yeah. But I do trust my coaches and my staff to work through the problem, and then they'll double check with me before it goes through to make sure that they're doing the right thing, and go for it.
That's why I'm a consultant and a podcast host, because I was terrible at that 15 years ago, that life
I
work
find that hard to
balance thing.
believe.
I'm a parent,
Uh-huh.
and let's assume there's parents listening to this, because I know I have hundreds and hundreds of parents that listen to this that have high school kids. They hear the phrase championship culture, and that's what you're trying to build.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of those parents is going to have a different perspective on what that means and how their child
Mm-hmm.
fits into that. How do
Mm-hmm.
you define that with your coaches? Because it's real easy for us athletic.
Experience. Is it first class? Top notch? Are they getting the development on the court, for example, in their sport? Are they enjoying the team culture? Are they getting the support services they need to be successful in the classroom? Do they have the support from the coach when there's conflicts with exams, study groups, etc.? Are they getting the care, their health and safety covered by nutritionist, mental performance coach, and athletic trainer? It's everything. It is not just winning games. It is not. This is a life. This is life. This is their first life experience with guardrails.
Well said. Now, here's where I want you to take this, because that's your
Mm-hmm.
job as the leader of your division, is to make sure your coaches and your kids can be the best versions of themselves. It's your job to create that foundation
Mm-hmm.
where they don't have to worry about, why isn't the bus here? We've got an ankle injury and we don't have an athletic trainer.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the middle of a basketball game and we don't have any water. Those type of things. Your job is to make sure those thoughts don't have to be had, that they can coach, they can play, they can be teammates,
Yes.
they can be healthy, they can be happy. Now let's look at that from a recruiting standpoint, because I bring in the wrong kid, and that's affecting the culture that we're building, and it's affecting everybody's job. It's affecting everybody's world. If I'm a parent, how does my child fit into the Daemen championship culture? And how do I know my child doesn't fit that culture?
That's where all those questions come into play. That's why all of those questions are important. I mean, it's so commonplace for me. It's hard for me to put words. I mean, it's hard for me to identify exactly what to tell a parent, but to ask the questions. And
I'm asking because that's,
I mean,
my
ask
struggle.
questions. And I know this is going to sound weird, and I don't think I mean, I did compliance for a while. I don't think this is a rule, but when you're invited to go to a game, go with your young person.
Yeah.
And find where the parents are sitting. Find where the parents are sitting. Listen. Yeah. You don't necessarily have to engage with them, but listen. I mean, if they're yay-yaying about their coach, or they're grumpy, or ask them, say, hey, is your son or daughter on the team? Oh, great. How do they like it here? Observe, watch how your young person interacts with the coach. Stream a game and watch how they play, and try to figure out where your son or daughter maybe fits in that. Listen, remember what the coach said about their role and responsibility. Talk to your son or daughter and make sure they understand what the coach meant by role and responsibility. And then when you're on campus, have your son or daughter attend a class. Ask them to audit a class. Either go with the student athlete to a class or audit something that's in the major that they're interested in. See if that person feels like that professor is going to relate to them, and vice versa. I know that's not what anybody's thinking about, because all they're thinking about is winning and being part of a team and the championships and all that and playing time. You're going to leave there in 4 or 5 years with 4 years or 5 years of eligibility, and you're going to leave there with a degree.
Yeah.
And so it all does, in my opinion, it all is part of it. And then the parents need to ask all kinds of questions to the coach. If I have a problem or I have a question, will you take my phone call? Parent needs to ask that on the front end.
Agree.
And I'm hoping that the coach says no.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the coach says, no, your son or daughter can come to my office and we can call you together.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm hoping that's what they say.
Yeah.
Okay, my son or daughter gets injured What do we do? And ask the coach that. Don't just go to the training room and ask the head athletic trainer. Ask the coach. Because what you want to hear is the support that the coach is going to give and the direction the coach is going to give. If you send them to, am I going to be allowed to like eat with my son or daughter, or am I going to be able to hang out at the same hotel? I know these are tiny little things and they're not something that you think of when you're talking about recruiting, but all the information from all these little things matter, because you need to hear about mood and vibe and expectation. I mean, coaches, you get an expectation from the coach tells the parent, no, I won't take a call. Yes, you can call me, but I won't talk to you about certain things. That tells you that coach is, it's important for that coach to, for your son or daughter to grow up, be mature, and handle their own situations. And you need to expect that coach to help your son or daughter do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm sure you've heard a lot of the same things over and over again, and I'm probably trying to find things that are a little different, because I just think we're at a time now where things do need to be a little bit different. You do need to ask a lot of questions. You should be asking how many kids transferred out last year. You should be asking how many people are you bringing in this year. Don't ask about playing time. Don't ask about that. Ask about how many kids are you anticipating to transfer? How many kids are you graduating? Those are good questions to ask. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm curious, Traci, you go down the hallway with your coaches, how many of them can answer those questions the way you would expect them to? And how many are
All
good?
of them.
Is that because of the conversations you're having in staff meetings and individuals, or is that because you know what you're hiring?
Both.
The coaching is never ends. The conversation of
No,
who we are,
no.
what championship culture
Yes.
means, how we get
Yeah.
there, who we
Yeah.
bring into that culture never ends.
Yep. Yeah, no, I mean, yes, I talked about the strategic plan. That's why I made our end of the year evaluations a model image of the strategic plan, because it's always being reinforced. We reinforce it during staff meetings, which are once a month. We reinforce it at the end of the year when you do your evaluations. We talk about it at our kickoff. We
Yeah.
talk about it at our end of the year, at the end of the year meeting, when we're off site and we're hanging out and we do something fun. It's all connected. This is something that we have to weave throughout our division the whole time, because otherwise it's harder for the coaches to, we all have to believe this. I mean, we all have to row in the same direction. And
Right.
and if we're not all on the same page, I'll tell you one thing, when you have a coach that isn't in sync like that, it's real obvious.
It hurts. It
And it
hurts
is very painful. It is
because
very
it's not a
painful. Listen,
band-aid that you can rip off.
yeah, no, it's not. And listen, and I'm also, I don't know. I also try to rehab. I mean, that's the old train. I try to rehab people. So like if I can't get necessarily somebody to, if they're off a little bit or they're focusing too much on one thing and not enough on another, I have to redirect. And we do that. I mean, and we'll evaluate it and we'll redirect. Like I said, I want to teach them grace, and they're very hard. I have some that are very hard on themselves, and I'm trying to tell them I'm not, please, I'm not, I can talk till I'm blue in the face and that doesn't matter. I mean,
Yeah.
it's yes, they can all do this. I mean, we're a family and we're all in this together. I mean, I'm very, very, very proud of what we have done here and in my tenure. And I am very, very, I am one of the luckiest people to have the coaches that I have. I'm telling you, I am so lucky. I can't, they love what they do. They want to do what they do. They, 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 they love every part of their job. And
They don't take it for
I,
granted.
no, they do not. And it just, they make it worth, besides my student athletes are, I mean, I love my student athletes. But speaking of my coaches and even my senior staff, that makes it worthwhile to come to work every day. And every conversation I have on campus or off campus, it is so easy to advocate for them. It's not for me. I'm advocating for them.
That's right.
And I'm advocating for Daemen. And I love it.
It's
I
just
mean,
it's a
I
sign
don't
of
know how
great
much
leadership.
longer I don't know how much longer I'll be here. I mean, your voice
Yeah.
you know, kind of drowns out after a while,
That's
because,
right.
but I'm very fortunate.
You don't want to hear this, but it's the sign of great leadership when you have
Right?
those things. It
Yeah.
is. I've been in places where I didn't feel like we were all rowing the boat the same direction. And there were times where we didn't know what that direction was.
Mm-hmm.
I just spent a year as a high school coach a couple years ago. We never had a staff meeting. I still can't tell you who
Oh,
the other head coaches are on that staff.
oh my gosh.
The only ones that I met, the ones that came through my gym during practices and
Oh,
introduced themselves. I have no idea. And a lot of them, we shared kids, we shared athletes, but we never had a staff meeting. We never shared ideas. We never shared worries or concerns. And this was at the high school level. And it was,
yeah.
part-time job. I show up, I do my job, and I leave. This isn't a culture. This isn't a family. I'll tell you this. I've got a friend who's a D2 basketball coach down the road here. And I went to his practice a couple weeks ago, and I sat in a chair. They were already in practice, and I just sat in a chair over the sidelines. And throughout the next 20 minutes, I never saw the coach point at me. I never saw the coach acknowledge the boys. One by
Mm-hmm.
one, they would come over and shake my hand and ask me my name, tell me who they were, where they were
Mm-hmm.
from.
Mm-hmm.
And they were polite, and they were kind, and they were
Yep.
curious. And I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, Jeff, I've
Yep.
known you for 10 years, and I'm so thankful that you're still doing this.
Yeah,
Because if they're
I
doing
have
that for
that.
me, every recruit and parent that comes in,
Yes. Well, I appreciate that.
give a piece of advice for a young coach out there that wants to be a college coach.
Try, just keep trying.
Keep
Talk
working.
to, you know what? Networking is really important. And I guess that's really what I want them to understand. Networking and observing and watching and getting and talking to a variety of people, good and bad, will make you better. I mean, what you see in terms of leadership from me, that is from 30 years of working with very good and very bad leadership.
Yeah, yeah. I feel so.
And I have been able to identify who I want to be and how I want to lead. And that's what a young coach should be doing too. They should be watching mannerisms of their coaches they're working with. They need to listen to how they're communicating. I'm not talking X's and O's. I'm talking
Yeah,
leadership style, management style, communication style, those three things. And they should be spending any free moment they have observing that in a variety of areas. Even if you're a men's coach, you can go observe women coaches. If you're a women's coach, go observe men's coaches. There's a lot more similarity there than there are differences, and you should find a balance regardless. And I think that all that stuff is going to help you develop your philosophy and your foundation. And when you take it all in and you start to do those things, you will begin to believe it, and then you can articulate it. That's the biggest thing that I look for when we actually have the maybe part of a Zoom, but at the in person, it's the articulation. And you should be able to articulate, and I should be able to suspect that this is a variety of influences that have brought you to my chair,
yeah,
into my office, in the chair, in the hot seat for the interview.
yeah.
I know
Listen,
it's not one word, but
no,
you
it's
know.
great. It's ideal advice. I put you in a room with 300 parents and athletes. They all want to play. Their kids all want to play in college. What would you tell them on how to go about the recruiting process if they want to play at Daemen? What should they be doing?
Oh, as soon as possible, they should be sending the young person, not the parent. The
Thank
young
you.
person who wants to play should be sending an email to the coach, providing them stats, film, even if it's just one clip, and then their home schedule or their game schedule. And that should go to our coach with a very nice opening that has been proofread, that flows well, that says, "Hi, I am," and tell them why you're interested in Daemen. So if that means you got to go spend 30 minutes on our website, then do it. Don't just cold call. Make it seem, for any school that you're looking at, make it seem that you're interested in us because. And I would put in there as much information as you possibly can regarding that.
Yes.
And then you add all of your athletic acumen, okay? And whether you cut and paste your stats or you attach your stats or there's a one video in there and then your schedule and say, I would love for you to come watch me play. This is the club team I do. I'm going to be, or hey, you're going to be in town playing blah, blah, blah. Let them know that. And you know what? If you really want to come here, keep emailing.
That's right. You're helping me sell a lot of books, Traci. Thank you very much.
Oh,
I
that's
mean, you're
great.
going
I'm
right.
glad. Where's my cut?
You will get it. That was chapter 6. You just
There you
explained
go.
it to a T. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. Thank you.
I got to tell you, it's like Conan O'Brien. He's always looking for a friend. I am collecting friends through this podcast, and I'm so thankful to have you in my life, and I'm so thankful you're in the world of athletics, sharing your knowledge and your love and compassion and fighting and advocating for student athletes and coaches. It fills my heart, and I'm just so thankful to know you. So thank you for doing this.
Oh, Matt, thank you for this opportunity. This has been so much fun. I just enjoyed the conversation and the topics, and I am so glad you are now in my network. I am very excited. So
You got me whenever you need me. If I can help in any way, or if you just ever want to talk about life and coaching and administrating, I'm always open to it. I miss it, and this is what I miss. I miss being able to walk into your office and go, "Hey, I got something I'm dealing with. Let's talk about it." So this has been great. Thank you for sharing your wisdom.
oh, my pleasure. Absolutely. I've enjoyed every second. Thank you.